about continents, and so I am going to read Little Kid's First Big Book of the World by Elizabeth Carney, and it is a National Geographic Kids book. This is a picture of a monastery that sits on the island of Mont Saint Michel off the coast of France. Now, National Geographic books have beautiful pictures. It started out as a magazine, and then they have a lot of books too now. And the photographers are just known for taking beautiful pictures. This is a picture of two visitors, as you see, and they are visiting the Bayon Temple in Cambodia, and they are traveling by elephant. So cool. I would love to ride an elephant. This is the table of contents, and it talks about how it's going to have different chapters, and North America is going to start on page 10. South America will start on page 26. Europe will start on page 42. Asia on page 60. Africa on page 76. Australia will be on page 94, and Antarctica is 110. This is a map of the world, and it's showing all the different countries. But if you were in outer space, you would not see all these different colors, and you wouldn't see all the countries divided. You would see something that looks more like this, except it would be round. It would be a globe. And so we have Asia, Africa, North and South America, Antarctica, Europe, and finally Australia. We'll start off with North America. These are a bison herd in Alberta, Canada. And Canada is right above the United States. So this is us. We live here. And this is Canada. That's where that bison herd is. And oh, look up there. That's Alaska. That's actually part of the United States. North America also includes Mexico and all these countries that are actually, sometimes people call this Central America, but it's actually part of the North American continent. There are 23 countries in North America. The largest is Canada. The smallest is all the way down here. A little country called St. Kitts and Nevis. The city with the most people are Mexico City, Mexico, and there's about 21 million people that live there. You'll find palm trees and sunshine on the Caribbean islands. The United States, Canada, and Mexico make up most of North America. So this is the land near the North Pole. The land and the ocean are frozen. A flat land in the central plains is great for farming. This is Kalesk, Greenland. In the southwest, you'll find deserts and rocky canyons. Steamy jungles grow in the southern part of the continent. This is Arches National Park in Utah, which is part of the United States, and this is also part of the United States. This is a saguaro cactus, which can live up to 200 years. And that's in the state of Arizona, which is part of our United States. The weather in North America. In the south, it's warm year-round. Many days are sunny. Farther north, seasons bring cool autumn weather and rainy springs. It's cold all the time in the northernmost part of the continent. The ground is always frozen. So there are more tornadoes. More tornadoes form in the United States than anywhere else in the world. This is a beach in Tulum, Mexico. The people from all over the world have moved here. More than 8,000 years ago, people from Asia made their way across a land bridge to North America. More recently, people from all over the world have settled here, and that's why North America has many different cultures. People celebrate where they're from with parades, festivals, and sporting events. These girls are from Guatemala. And then This is a basketball game in Pennsylvania, USA. So that's on the East Coast. That's close to Maryland, where I grew up. Basketball was invented in North America in 1891. And then these kids are tobogganing, a type of sledding, and they're in Canada. The animals. Many types of animals live in North America. Some, like musk oxen. There's a musk oxen. And polar bears are built for the cold. You can find manatees. There's manatee. In waters of the warm south. Manatees have fingernails on their front flippers. And then we have a military macaw and a squirrel monkey and a musk oxen. The sights. Old stone pyramids and monumental gifts. North America has many natural wonders like Grand Canyon. There are man-made ones too. The Maya people of Mexico and northern Central America built a great stone pyramids long ago, and the pyramids still stand today. So this is Chichen Itza, Mexico, and this is a pyramid that was built there so many years ago. I would love to visit that. And then this is the Statue of Liberty. It stands in New York Harbor. France gave this as a gift. And it is 305 feet tall. There is a symbol that most people aren't able to see. Lady Liberty has a broken chain wrapped around her feet. It stands for the freedom that people find in the United States of America. Most people don't know that. I actually did not know that until I read this book. South America, Chapter 2. That is a jaguar in Brazil. This continent is home to the world's largest rainforest and its driest desert. So South America has 12 countries. Farming is important here. Many foods come from this continent. Potatoes, tomatoes, and bananas are a few. Most big cities are near the coast. This is a beach in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And this is South America. Now, South America has 12 countries. And French Guiana is a part of France. So there is a country called French Guiana, which is not actually part of, it's actually part of France. But the largest country in South America is Brazil, and the smallest country is Suriname, and Suriname is up here. And the city with the most people is Sao Paulo, Brazil, which has 21 million people that live there. That is right over there. Brazil makes up half of South America's land areas. So the biggest the country that makes up the most land area is Brazil. The land. The world's longest mountain range and its second longest river are here. The Andes mountain range stretches down the west side of South America. Some of these mountains are volcanoes. The Amazon River is very long. This is the Amazon River. Oh my goodness. So beautiful. So the Amazon River, it snakes through the Amazon rainforest. Parts of the Atacama Desert haven't seen a drop of rain since people began keeping weather records 400 years ago. Can you believe it? And then this picture is Los Flamencos National Reserve in Chile. The Atacama Desert in Chile is the driest place on the earth. And this is just showing the landforms of South America. The weather. The ice fields of Glaciers National Park in Argentina are the largest outside of Antarctica. Oh my goodness, can you imagine? So Glaciers National Park, Patagonia, Argentina. That is a place that people do like to visit. I have a friend who went down there. Rainforest bound? Bring your umbrella. It's hot and rainy in the northern half of South America. The Amazon rainforest is here. Part of the forest gets up to 9 feet of rain a year. This is a picture of Tamacamac National Park in Brazil. The Amazon rainforest is the largest tropical rainforest in the world. The southern tip of South America is very cold. That's because it's so far away from the equator. Giant ice sheets cover some parts of the land there. The people. Hola, hello. Ole. Hola, that's how most people say hello in South America. Very long ago, people made their way from Asia across North America down into South America. Over time, they built cities. People from Europe and Africa came later. Today, most South Americans are related to Asian, European, or African groups. Portuguese and Spanish are their main languages. This is a whitewater rafter in Ecuador. And then this is a Peruvian girl. And then soccer is the most important sport in South America. The animals. A wide variety of animals live in South America. There are blue and yellow macaws. There are blue and dart frogs. Pink river dolphin in the rainforest. You'll find llamas in the mountains, and armadillos live in different areas of the continent. Guanacos are related to camels. They live on the plains, plateaus, and coastlines of Peru, Chile, and Argentina. They also live in the Andes. A type of parrot, the blue and yellow macaw, has a powerful beak for cracking nuts and seeds. This is the armadillo. This is the pink river dolphin. The poisoned dart frog. The sights. Hiking boots and dancing shoes. Travelers hike a long way to see stone ruins on the mountaintop of Peru. The site is called Machu Picchu. It's known as the lost city of the Inca. The Inca were ancient South American people. Many South Americans celebrate Carnival. It is a festive season, usually in February in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. People wear colorful costumes and dance in the streets. So the Incan had no written language, so there is no record of why this magnificent site was built and what it was used for. Machu Picchu is perched nearly 8,000 feet high in the mountains. My sister actually climbed up here. She loved it. She said that there was parts that were really, really tiny and it was really hard to climb up. And then they had to climb up and climb down in time for the bus to catch them. So it was a really interesting experience for her. You can make a rainforest in a bottle. You're going to need a pretty big soda bottle. You're going to need scissors, tape, and you're going to need to collect stones and pebbles and some soil, some dirt, and you're going to put plants in that like moisture, which is pretty great for around here because we have a lot of plants that like moisture, like ferns. And you're going to need to water it, and then you can add like little tiny animal figures or bits of bark. So an adult is going to cut off the top part of the bottle. Then you're going to sprinkle a layer of pebbles at the bottom. Then you're going to fill the bottle a little more than halfway with soil. You're going to make a small hole for the soil, for the plants. Then you're going to place the plants in the hole and fill them with soil. And then you're going to make your rainforest look more realistic by adding some pebbles, rocks, animal figures, and bits of bark. And then you're going to water the plants by dampening the soil, but don't overwater. And then you can tape the top
top back onto the bottle, leaving the cap off. Place in the rainforest, in the bottle, in a sunny spot. So that is something that you could do.
Europe, where old meets new. This is the city of London, England. And there is the Eye of London. My husband and I actually wrote this on our honeymoon. We visited England. We got such a fantastic view of the city. Europe is the second smallest continent, but it has lots of countries. Many of the major cities are on the coast or along Europe's long rivers. Russia's land stretched from Europe into Asia. So there's Russia right there. But since Russia's major cities are in Europe, it is counted as a European city. The name Europe comes from Europa, a princess in Greek mythology. There are 46 countries in Europe. The largest is Russia, and the smallest is all the way here, down in Italy, called the Vatican City, right there. You know Italy from when you see the shape that looks like a boot. The city with the most people is Moscow, Russia. It has 12 million people. And here is a beautiful cathedral in Moscow. Europe has lots of coastline. It wraps around many different bodies of water. There are bays, seas, and gulfs. Long rivers crisscross the continent. People have used these waterways to trade goods for thousands of years. The weather is warm. Warm winds blow over Europe from the Atlantic Ocean. This gives much of the continent's mild weather. The land is good for farming and raising animals. Near the Mediterranean Sea, it's warm and sunny all year round. In the far north, it can get very cold during the winter. Here's sheep in Arcos de la Frontera, Spain. And this is a beach on the Greek island of Crete. I went there when I was a little girl, and it was so beautiful. I still remember how blue the ocean looked. Well, it's not ocean, the sea looked. And then this is Black Forest in Germany. The people. Many countries, many languages. There are many different groups of people living in Europe. More than 50 languages are spoken here. That's more than one per country. So this is an Icelandic girl with her lamb. I have family that lives in Germany, and they all can speak about 4 languages each, because there's so many countries with so many languages nearby. So they would go visit France and speak French, and they would go visit Spain and speak Spanish. And then they learned English when I was a kid, and then I was able to talk to them. And I remember when I couldn't talk to them, I couldn't understand them at all. They only spoke German at first, but then they learned English and they could talk to me. These are children in Switzerland. They often study 3 languages in school: German, English, and French, or Italian. Europe has long history. The land was once divided among many kingdoms and empires. These are gondolas in Venice. Can you imagine going to school in a boat, in a little gondola? The animals: feathery owls and feisty squirrels. Many animals make their homes in the forest of Europe. Rabbits, squirrel, and owls are common. Otters snack on fish in streams and lakes. In the north, you can find reindeer and Arctic fox. Alpine marmot. That's alpine marmot. Dig winter burrows that slope on the slopes of the Alps. Reindeer and caribou are the same animal. They are known as reindeer in Europe and caribou in North America. And then over here is an eagle owl. The eagle owl is one of the world's largest owl species. Owls are expert hunters. Some can even take on larger prey such as foxes, opossums, and hares. And there's that red squirrel that they were talking about. That's pretty common in Europe. The sites. Stepping into history. People who lived long ago built many of the famous places throughout Europe. Stonehenge is a circle of arranged rocks in England. People built it more than 4,000 years ago. It may have helped them study the stars. And ancient Romans packed Rome's Colosseum to watch events such as gladiators fight. So this is a Colosseum in Rome, Italy. Castles were once the homes of kings and other wealthy people. One small town in Italy had 72 castles at one time. They don't have 72 castles anymore, but they did at one time. Can you believe it? Disneyland's Sleeping Beauty Castle is modeled after this castle in Neuschwanstein Castle in Germany. Does it remind you of the Sleeping Beauty Castle? Explorer Spotlight. Carson Peter wears a heat-proof suit. He follows scientists into the mouth of Mount Etna. It's one of the world's most active volcanoes. Mount Etna is on the island of Sicily in Italy. Carson's job is to take pictures of an eruption. He joins scientists as they study erupting volcanoes. The scientists want to gather samples of the melted rock or lava. It is dangerous work. The temperatures can climb to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and the dangerous gases fill the air. Why take the risk? Because no one knows when volcanoes will pop. Explosions can be deadly for people living near volcano slopes. Information from these studies can help save lives. Thanks, Karsten. Let's go. Let's be an artist like Michelangelo. Michelangelo was a famous European artist. He painted the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican City 500 years ago. The paintings are some of the most famous artworks, European artworks. Create your own masterpiece the way Michelangelo did. Ask for your adults' help and permission first. So with this, what you do is you take a piece of paper and you ask your parent to help you tape it underneath a table. And then you go underneath the table and you draw. And it's actually pretty tricky. My daughter did that in kindergarten and she found it pretty tricky. When you're done, make sure you send me a picture.
खेलन क्यों न जाए तू हो री रे रसिया खेलन क्यों न जाए तू हो री रे रसिया पूछे है तो वे सारी कुइयां कहाँ है बदरी की दुल्हनिया
Asia,
दुल्हनिया
the world's largest continent. The Taj Mahal in Agra. The countries. Everything seems bigger in Asia. More people live here than anywhere else on Earth. You'll find the most crowded cities here. Shanghai in China is home to 24 million people. The city of Tokyo in Japan has the world's busiest metro train system. This is a fissure in Shanghai, China. Most of Turkey is located in Asia, but the northwest part of the country lies in Europe. And yeah, it's interesting because this area right here is called the Middle East. And people think sometimes that it's its own continent, but it's not. It's part of Asia. And here's China. That's where my family went to visit. We went to Beijing. We flew from Los Angeles in California. We flew all the way across the country, all the way across the ocean. Well, not across the country because we were at the edge. So we went over the Pacific Ocean, and then we actually flew up and came down to Beijing. And then we flew over to Pakistan, and we landed in Islamabad, which is where my family lives. Now, there are 46 countries
In Asia, the largest country is China. And the smallest country is the Maldives, which are down underneath India. These islands are supposed to be amazing. I have a friend who went to visit there, and he's a surfer, so he went and he surfed in the Maldives. The city with the most people is Tokyo, Japan. There are 38 million people who live there. And here's a picture of Tokyo, Japan. You'll find 10 of the world's largest mountain peaks in Asia. They are all in one large mountain chain called the Himalayas. I've flown over them on an airplane, and usually when you're on an airplane, you look down and the land is pretty far away when you're up super duper high. But when you go over the Himalayas, they are so tall, they're almost at where you are in the airplane. It's really crazy to see because they're just so tall. They are actually, so Pakistan's right here. So the base of the Himalayas start in Pakistan, and then India has the Himalayas, and China does. Rainforests and green valleys appear south of these mountains. The land is frozen most of the year in the north. Thirsty deserts make up most of Central Asia. Here is Mount Everest, which is in the China-Nepal border. A lot of people try to climb it. It's super duper tall. The weather, very cold or hot, very rainy or very dry. Northern Asia has long icy winters and short cool summers. It rarely rains in the deserts in Asia's central and western parts. In the south, heavy rains soak the land in the summer. The rains allow farmers to grow water-loving crops like rice. This is someone two people riding through the rain in Vietnam. And then the Gobi in Mongolia during the winter. Look at all that snow. And this is a tea plantation in Malaysia. And this is how rice grows. This is a rice paddy. Most of the world's rice is grown in Asia. The people, land of many traditions. Many different groups of people live in Asia. They each have their own language and culture. Some traditions are very old. These are kids at a school in Thailand. The world's first cities were built here thousands of years ago. One of them was built in Pakistan in the Indus Valley. This is a family waiting for a bus in India. This is the pilgrimage to Mecca in Saudi Arabia. They all go and they visit the special holy place for in the Muslim religion, so in Islam. Millions of people visit there, and the tradition is part of the Muslim faith, and it's called the Hajj. It is the world's largest gathering. I guess they're not doing that now during COVID-19, right? The animals. Lizards, tigers, and bears. Tigers prowl the forest of India and some other parts of Asia. The world's largest lizard lives in Asia. It's called the Komodo dragon. There's the Komodo dragon. Woolly yaks live high up in the Himalayas. So they live in mountainous areas and they are able to walk around up in those mountains. Fuzzy pandas live only in the bamboo forests of China. And this tiger is a Bengal tiger. His roar can be heard up to 2 miles away. That's pretty far. The sights. So this is where we went over the summer. The Great Wall of China. It was so beautiful. You felt like you were on top of the world. And when you were at the bottom of it, you couldn't even see it because it was up so high. So temples and ruins of old cities can be found throughout Asia. Angkor Wat in Cambodia is a huge temple that was built over 900 years ago, and that's this one right here. Originally a Hindu temple. Its name means the city of temples. And the Great Wall of China is the largest structure built by humans. It was built in sections over hundreds of years. The wall is 13,000 miles long. It was built in sections by different kingdoms, and then one ruler took over that area and he was able to connect them. He had them connect all of them, and that way they could be protected from the Huns that were above where China is. Burj Khalifa in the United Arab Emirates is the new marvel. It's the world's largest skyscraper. It's as tall as 9 statues of liberties stacked on top of each other. It's hard to tell how tall it really is. But maybe if you look over here, you can see these don't look very tall. I mean, they look a little tall. Actually, these are pretty tall. But then you look at this guy. And oh, keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. Pretty tall. Some sites in Asia are famous for their mosaics. Their beautiful patterned tiles decorate places like the Blue Mosque. So this is one of them in Turkey, and the Taj Mahal in India. You can actually make your own mosaic. So this is how you could do it. Arrange pattern blocks or shapes on one cardboard square, and once you're happy with the design, glue the shapes to the square. This is one tile. You can make as many tiles as you would like. So it looks like they started off with cutting some tiles and then they put them together. Put the tiles together. Count how many different shapes you used in your mosaic. Which shape did you use the most? Now if you do this, please send me a picture. The things you need are a pencil, a ruler, scissors, colored construction paper, cut into a variety of shapes such as triangles, diamonds, pentagons, squares, and then 3 or more pieces of cardboard and glue. And then you can end up with something like this, which is based on this and this. Out of all the continents, Africa is divided into the most countries. 54. Yeah, 54 countries. The newest country is South Sudan, that was created in 2011. Some cities are very crowded, but most Africans live in smaller villages and farms. Here is a boy carrying a tray of fresh bread through the busy streets of Cairo, which is in Egypt. Africa has 18,500 miles of coastline, lots of beach. The largest country in Africa is Algeria, which is right up here at the top. And then the smallest country is Seychelles, which is down here. It is on the island. Most of Africa is on a high, flat plateau. There aren't many mountains here. Most craggy peaks are in the east. So that's the east. See where the mountains are? Yep, that's where the mountains are. You'll find the deserts at the northern and southern parts of Africa. A band of forests and grasslands called savannas make up the middle. So here is the Sahara Desert. There's all the forest, and down here is the Kalahari Desert. The weather is dry, hot, and rainy. Most places in Africa are very hot. The continent doesn't have any cold weather environments. It's rainy in the middle of Africa. You'll find rainforests there. North Africa contains the world's largest hot desert, the Sahara. So here's a picture of camel caravan in the Sahara. The strong winds in the Sahara can cause sandstorms. Here is a rainforest in Uganda. And look at this giant mountain. This is the Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. The people, our ancient origins. People have lived in Africa longer than any other place. Scientists think that humans came from here. Today, many groups of people live in Africa. Some focus on farming and herding. Others live in booming cities where there are lots of businesses. Here is Nairobi, Kenya. And these are students in Swaziland. And this is a Maasai children in front of a mud hut. This hut is made out of mud. And this is in Masai Mara, Kenya. The Maasai house are usually circular or star-shaped. The animals. Time for a safari. These are the giraffe. The giraffe is Earth's tallest animal. And this is the hippopotamus. Look at that guy. Africa is famous for its animal life. You'll find herds of elephants, prides of lions, and towers of giraffes. Here is a gorilla and a mother lion and her cubs. In the forests of Central Africa, gorillas munch peacefully on leaves. Hungry hippos wade through rivers and lakes. The sights, pyramids, wildlife, and waterfalls. Visitors are awed by Egypt's Great Sphinx and pyramids. The ancient Egyptians built them 4,500 years ago. This is the Great Pyramid at Giza, Egypt. Every zebra has its own unique straight pattern. You see that pattern? What kind of pattern does he have? A, B, right? Animal lovers go to the grasslands to see Africa's great animal herds. Victoria Falls is one of Africa's natural wonders. Its African name means smoke that thunders. The fall creates mist that can be spotted from more than 12 miles away. Here are the Victoria Falls in Zambezi River in Zimbabwe. Does that look amazing? Do you see the rainbow? Look at that rainbow. So this is a woman named Jane Goodall. She uncovers the world of the chimpanzees. In 1960, she traveled to Africa, packing a pair of binoculars and a notebook. She wanted to learn everything she could about chimpanzees. These apes are humans' closest animal relatives. Jane lived near chimps in the forest and went to watch them every day. She observed their behavior and she took notes. She made many new discoveries. Her work turned into one of the longest studies of chimpanzee behavior. And you can still see the descendants, the babies of the chimps that Jane studied in the 1960s. They live in Gombe National Park. Now, this is something you can do. You can be a scientist. And you could even use your writing journal to do this. So Jane Goodall made important discoveries about animals by simply watching them and making a field guide of animal life. So you can make a field guide of animal life in your neighborhood. And you're going to need your journal, a pencil, colored pencils, and if you have binoculars, you can bring binoculars. And you're going to take your supplies to your backyard or on a walk through the neighborhood. And if you do a walk in the neighborhood, you have to make sure that you go with a parent. Then you're going to make notes about the animals you see and what they are doing. Are they talking to each other? Are they playing with each other? What are they doing? And you can use your colored pencils to draw a picture about them, what they look like. You can do this at the same time every day or once a week. And you can write down any changes. Maybe the animal got bigger. Maybe the animal got an owie and now he's limping. Or maybe he has a new friend. Just any observation that you're seeing. And after a few weeks or months, go back and look at your notes. Do you notice any changes happening over time? red-tailed dragon lizard in Shark Bay, Australia. I wonder if there's any sharks out there. Australia is a country and a continent in one. It only has one country. Australia is the smallest of the 7 continents. It just makes up 5% of Earth's land. It's the only continent that is also a country. It's made out of 6 different states. And you can see the different states. Kind of like how United States has states. They have states too. Australia is called the land down under because the whole country is south or underneath the equator. Australia may be the smallest continent, but it is the 6th largest country on Earth. And the state with the most people is New South Wales, which is right here. And that's where Sydney is, the capital. You might have heard of Sydney. And then the state with the fewest people is Tasmania, which is actually all the way down here. There's a little island. And Sydney has the most people. 4.5 million people live there. A mountain range runs down Australia's east coast. It blocks rain from the Pacific Ocean. The rest of the continent is dry and flat, and the interior is nicknamed the Outback. Eucalyptus and acacia trees are the most common plants found in Australia, Tasmania, and it has large areas of rainforest and mountains. This is Allura that we're looking at. The weather. Sunscreen is a must. Most Australia is warm and sunny all the time. Ocean winds bring rain to the coast, and this causes thick forests to grow in some area. Hurricanes are a summer weather threat in the region. In this part of the world, hurricanes have a different name. They're called cyclones. A storm over Sydney's harbor. Limestone rock towers in the Australian desert. And then this is, a beautiful waterfall. Milla Milla Falls in Queensland, Australia. The people. Aboriginals came from Australia, from Asia, about 40,000 years ago. They have one of the world's oldest cultures. Storytelling, painting, and dance are important parts of their lives. Today, most Australians are related to settlers from Europe who arrived about 200 years ago. English is their main language. So these are the Aboriginal girls with face paint. And here is a surfing competition in Sydney, Australia. Australian cattle ranches are called stations. There are many across the country. Animals. Kangaroo crossing. Oh my goodness, look at all the animals in Australia. Many unusual animals live in Australia. Koalas, kangaroos, wallabies raise their babies in pouches in their bellies. A duck-billed platypus is a mammal like us, but its babies hatch out of eggs, which is it's not typical for mammals to do that. Green turtles, there's a green turtle, are found off the coast and sometimes come up on land to get some sun. In the coral reefs, the Great Barrier Reef, crown of thorns sea stars become a problem. They hunt underwater environment by eating coral. And that is the crown of thorns sea star. It's actually pretty, huh? The sights. Fun in the water and on the land. The Great Barrier Reef is Earth's largest living structure. It's off Australia's northeastern coast. Australia's beautiful beaches are popular surfing spots. There's even a city named Surfer's Paradise. So here's a surfer at Snapper Rocks or Gold Coast. Would you rather learn how to surf or scuba dive? You can tell me in the comments. Sydney Opera House.
The Great Barrier Reef. Oh, it's so beautiful. The Sydney Opera House is one of Australia's most famous places to visit. It hosts plays, dances, and concerts. Let's go. Leap like a kangaroo. Red kangaroos can cover 25 feet in a single leap. How does your longest leap compare to jumping roos? Here's the red kangaroo. Look how cute he is. You're going to need masking tape, tape measure, a flat ground, and a marker, or you could use chalk, and chalk would be actually great. So you're going to make a line on the ground with the masking tape, and then that's going to be where you're going to start your jumping. Or you could actually do that with chalk. You could just draw a line with chalk. And then you're going to get a running start and jump from the line you made. Remember to practice your jumping safety. Keep your legs bent a little bit. Make sure that you're ready to jump. Decide if you're going to land on both feet or one foot. And then mark where you land, and you can measure it. Make several jumps and mark each jump with a piece of tape. Label it. Jump 1, jump 2, jump 3. And you can do that with the tape, or you can do it with chalk. So this is a good time to pause the movie and go do this fun activity. Antarctica, can you feel the chill? And these are the Gen 2 penguins on an iceberg in the Antarctic Peninsula. Antarctica is Earth's coldest, driest, and windiest place. This landmass covers the South Pole. There are no countries, but scientists from all over the world have set up research stations here to study the land, weather, and the animals. So no one really lives here except for the people that are studying it. It's no surprise it is cold in Antarctica year-round. Temperatures rarely rise above freezing. The continent gets very little rain or snow. That makes Antarctica a big, cold desert. So a thick layer of ice covering the continent actually took millions of years to build. So the ice is already there. Animals. It's a penguin parade. It may seem like nothing could survive in Antarctica, but that's not the case. Some animals are built for life here. The emperor penguins live on Antarctica year-round. Here are the emperor penguins. Leopard seals hunt among the floating ice. Here's a leopard seal. Blue and humpback whales swim through Antarctic waters in the summer. Here's a humpback whale. Seabirds such as penguins and cormorants feast on the plentiful fish that live in the waters around Antarctica. That is the blue-eyed cormorant. Let's go take care of a penguin egg. Mommy and Daddy, emperor penguins, take turns caring for their egg. The penguin parent holds the egg on its feet to keep it warm. Try taking care of your own egg. You're going to need 1 orange. You're going to place the orange on your feet and gently support it by squeezing it with your feet. This is your penguin egg. Now, try to walk around like a penguin. Remember to waddle with your feet together, supporting your egg. See, that's how they do it. Those emperor penguins. And that's it. The end. Thank you for joining me for Little Kids' First Big Book of the World.